Well, welcome to Papa Bear's Peppers. Welcome to Papa Bear's Peppers. And today we're doing episode 2 of the indoor grow. And this is where we're going to start our seeds. And I'm going to try something a little different this time. I had gotten a recipe from Scott Ostrander from Nectar for the Gods. And we're going to do a little experiment, as you will, with this to see how it works out. And what we're going to be doing is with our water, we're going to be doing a root soak or a seed soak for 12 to 24 hours using Zeus Juice. And the reason that you're doing this is because of the humic acid that's involved and the kelp that's involved with this. And it helps to soften up that shell just a little bit. And basically, it inoculates the shell as well of the seed so that it's protected from a lot of things. So what we're going to be doing is doing 1 teaspoon per ounce of water for the seed soak. Now, to do what we're going to do for the seed soak today, so the seeds that we're going to soak today are going to be chocolate reapers sent to me by Ed Curry. I appreciate it. He also sent this hot sauce, and I'm going to try that in just a minute just to see how it is. It's a special one that he did for Secret Service members. I'm also going to be doing the Trinidad Scorpion Marugas. This is one of my favorite peppers of all. And then the last but not least, I'm going to be doing some of Sherwood's yellow carbarugas. These are an awesome yellow pepper. Probably one of the hottest yellow peppers that I've ever had. Tony Sherwood developed that, and this is going to be my F3 on that, and my big challenge is going to be keeping those separate on my indoor grow. So while I'm starting my indoor grow inside the tent, I'm going to be constructing on my grow shed to better insulate it for the winter time so that I'll have a better grow and I can have a bigger room for growing. But I've got a few steps to doing that. So we're going to get started with this. And for starters, you might also have seen too, and I'll throw my little promo out there, my Papa Bear's Pepper hot sauce. Folks, it's taken me a few years to get the recipe to where I want to, but I'll show you real quick on this. A little pour right there, you can see. Give you a close-up of the color on that. Beautiful color. Nice, creamy, smooth. What I like to do is marry the heat and the sweet together. And that's what I believe I've done with this one. This is my Sweet Nectar hot sauce. Really good one. Now, we're going to move on to Ed Curry's. He was nice enough to send this to me. So really quick, I'm going to do this as I'm kind of trying to marry my episodes with a little bit of extra spicy flavor. And now this one is called the Pepper Pool, or the Press Pool, I'm sorry. Washington, D.C., the 800, the 002. It's a really cool ball. It's one that he did for them. And the ingredients on this one is pepper mash, horseradish, onion, garlic, Worcestershire sauce, lemon, salt, may contain fish olive green vinegar. Okay. Well, I say that because, first of all, my eyes kind of suck. Anyway, so I'll be honest that I'm not a horseradish fan, but I'm going to try this because, sometimes you can marry flavors and it'll have a better flavor than you think. So I'm willing to try it. So this is a special edition that Ed did. He just sent it to me just because. That's a pretty good flavor. I didn't expect that. Wow. Really good flavor. So this is the taxation without representation. This is one that he did for the Secret Service and sent to them as a gift. That's got good flavor. I like that. Thank you, Ed. That's really good flavor. So anyway, we're going to get on with our seed starting. And so what I'm going to do, now this is a recipe that Scott gave me. And basically he said 1 teaspoon per ounce of water. So, and again, when you shake this up, that's great, but be careful because this stuff stains. So you want to be really careful when you're pouring. I'm going to put that in there just like that. And I'll tell you why I'm doing this experimentally, and I believe wholeheartedly in it, because honestly, I am a very, very big fan of Nectar for the Gods. You guys know that. And when I get something from Scott like this that he believes in, he says this is a very good recipe, I got to believe in it. I got to believe in it because you know what? Scott's never steered me wrong with Nectar for the Gods. My plants love it. I believe in it. Now, I want to tell you about something I'm going to do as a follow-up, and that's SLF 100. What I'm going to be using this for is in the water, even during the seed stage, I'm going to be using the SLF 100. While it's considered to be, he has to list it as a cleaner, I know for a fact that Newton, the owner here, he says you can use this for any phase, and all it's going to do is help with the food web. So I got that in, and what I need to do is stir this up. So I have one of my stirring sticks here, and I'm just going to stir this up really good. Get it mixed in really well. On all 3 of them. And what I'm going to do with this solution when I'm done is I'm actually going to put it into a feed, because the solution, like he said, just pour it into the soil when you're done. Zeus Juice is an amazing growth hormone. It has the kelp extract in it and the humic acids just from the way that it's made. It's an awesome product, folks. You want to get some really good growth, get that kelp type growth, and that's a great way to go. So the next thing we're going to be doing is I'm going to mark these, and I'm going to show you a little trick. And I'm going to show you a little trick on this. It's something that I like to do, and I'm going to use some tape, and I make these small little labels like this, and I've got each one on there. But to make sure that they don't run or bleed or anything, I'm going to be cutting small strips of tape on here, and I'm going to be coating each one of these. That way I can just put them right on the glass, and when I'm done I can put them right in the containers. So, and then what I do is I trim it once I'm done coating it, and that gives it a nice waterproof cover so that it won't run, it won't run out of, it won't run, it won't get wet, and it can't fade. So this is a great way, great little tip for your plants for tags if you want. And once I tape over it like that, I just clean it up. I'm just cutting the edges off now and fold the tape right over. And get a little snip right like that. This gives it a nice finished look. Alright, and last but not least, and I chose these for a reason, folks. It's just the ones that I really want to do. I know that Moruga is one of my favorites for hot sauces, so I want to get that strain going again. Very important to me. It is, I have said on many occasions, my favorite pepper as far as flavor and heat. It's just a great overall pepper. Okay. And I don't know, I may find out some that I really enjoy that I'm growing right now, and I might want to grow more of those too. So I know one of my M.A. Wartrixes are very good peppers. Something about peppers that Matthew Arthur makes, they just all have a sweet note to them. So all right, so we've got those marked. Now I'm just going to put a small piece of tape to keep them in place on the side of the glasses while they're soaking. And I will say also, it's a good idea to keep your seeds in the refrigerator. Or, you know, some people even go as far as the freezer. Now, I don't know about that, but I do keep mine. You want them in a very cool, dark place. If you're not in the refrigerator, somewhere where they will stay cool, it just helps extend their life. So I'm just going to go ahead. Now I'm going to put my chocolate Reaper on this glass. And moving over. Trinidad Scorpion Moruga. That Moruga pepper, I really love that pepper. I've said that, I know. So now we got the last one. I'm just cutting little pieces of tape to keep the tags on the containers while I'm soaking them, so I don't get confused on what is in what. And I will double check, even though I'm doing this, I'll always look. And I'm going to start out with the yellow Carbaruga. So I'm going to take, and this is seeds that I got from last year, so I'm actually going into Gen 3 or 4 on this one. So really good pepper, lots of heat for a yellow, like I said. Really, like I said, just an all around good little pepper. So I'm going to put those in there. And I did put extra in there because I want to make sure, in this case, folks, that the seeds actually sink, that they're actually going to go into the water. If they float, and it's been my experience that if they float, they're not going to be fertile, they're not going to be viable. So when I do my seed soak, I want them to be wet, and then I want them to go under the water. So I'm going to have to strain these when I get done to pull the seeds out. So there's that one, and that's going to, they're going to be soaked for 12 to 24 hours inside of the Zeus Juice water mixture. Again, 1 teaspoon of Zeus Juice per ounce of water. So now I got my Moruga, and I got my Moruga here. And I'm actually using the last of my seeds here from my Trinidad Scorpion Moruga. Like I said, a very, very special plant for me. And I'm going to go all in on this one. I want to make sure that I get a sinker in there so that I have this started. Once I can get them sinking, then I'll be in good shape. So again, I'm going to take and stir those up inside of my Moruga. I'm making sure that everything's matching up. And this will actually inoculate them too, as well as when I go ahead with the SLF 100 in the water mix. Now the SLF 100, if you're wondering, on that one you want to go 5 milliliters to a gallon. It doesn't take much, folks, and you don't want to go overboard. You want to keep it what it is. All right, so there is that one, and now we're moving on to the Chocolate Reaper and our final type that we're going to be growing inside of our tent. And I always put a few extra in there because you want to play the numbers game. If you only have 3 or 4 seeds, I understand. But if you have more, you want to put a few more into there, and then go ahead and put them in your soil mix and try and get as many. You want your opportunities to be good, that you get a nice strong plant. Because you got to remember, once we do this, when they're seedlings, I'm going to be keeping them going, but I'm going to get to the point where I narrow this down to 3 plants that are going to be inside the grow tent. So I have to be cognizant that I'm getting a good germinated start, one that's really healthy. And you'll always notice that when you are germinating, when you're growing your plants, you always have that one that's just your exceptional plant. Well, that's what you're doing. You're going with numbers to get an exceptional plant. And I'm going to be feeding them, like I said, the Nectar for the Gods line throughout the grow. I'm going to be running my Spider Farmer Light SF2000 inside of the tent. Now those are already set up and ready to go. My next phase, I'm going to go ahead and go in and wipe down the tent. Yes, it's a brand new tent. Get in the habit of cleaning the tent, even with a new one, cleaning the tent anytime you're starting a new one. You don't want anything to be inside of your tent to contaminate, to cause disease, to even the little bugs. Now I've already wiped down the bottom, so we're just going to do a quick cleanup here. And what I'm using on this cleanup, you can easily use your SLF 100, but I'm saving this for putting in to my regiment that I'm using for the rest of my plants too. So a very, very similar is the Hygrozyme. Now this is another one. I had gotten this from Nectar for the Gods a few years back. It was recommended to me by Scott Ostrander, but they since started carrying SLF 100. They like the way that it responds with their plants, with everything else. But I'm still using this up as a cleaner. I clean my, and this is your mix right here, 5 milliliters per gallon. But I still use it to clean up pots, my seed starting trays, everything. Now when it comes down to soaking, I'm going to be using soil that I've already started soaking through with the SLF 100 to clean it and make sure it's ready to go. All right, folks, now you can see here, I got my Bible Sun, and I've already tattooed my, my tent, and I've got my Nectar stickers on here, courtesy of OCG Fam, Nectar for the Gods. I like to represent. So, as you can see, it does a pretty good job of blocking the light. Now, I had to get something affordable because, you know, this is out of my pocket. So this is, I go ahead and got my Spider Farmer SF 2000 in here running right now. A really bright light. It's a beautiful light. It works really well. And right now I've got it dimmed down. So great light. Now, I will say that I've already wiped down my light and things like that. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to wipe down a few other things. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wipe down, right here is my window, and I want to just give this a light cleaning just to make sure that there's no contaminants in my tent. I want to wipe it down. And hopefully you see this. I have a whole bunch of different openings on here. I've got my 6-inch openings over here that I've got closed up. 4-inch opening that I've got the light power cord going through. A 6-inch opening up here to vent it out, as well as across the bottom. Folks, there's just an enormous amount of openings for this. So, while I am on a budget, I still wanted to get a tent that would it's pretty good. It's thick, it's got pretty good quality, it's got the diamond reflective materials of some of those other more expensive tents. It's got straps right here, as well it's got a material that it came with in this bag here to help make sure that if there are any tears, cuts, or anything, that I can use that tape to repair. I'm going to give it a wipe down again, because, and also down here, I'll show you this. is it does have the pool down here, the catch basin. If you have run over, you can probably carry up to 10 gallons in here easily, if not more. But I want to wipe down everything. I want a nice, sterile environment to start with, folks. I want to make sure that I'm not going to be introducing anything in here that could cause my plants harm. And it's a very easy thing to do when you don't have any plants or anything in here. Take the time to go ahead and wipe everything down. I've got these little mesh pockets on the bottom that I could easily blow a fan through, or what my thoughts are is going to be to run a fan right in through the back, an inline fan that blows air in and will actually draw it through the tent, or I'll just put a little fan in and have the inline up above and drawing out the hot air. The key is having air circulation, transfer of your oxygen and CO2 that is going in. You have to have that air circulation. Very important when you're growing in a tent or any kind of indoor closure is that you have the ability to transfer your air transfer. You have to have the ability to do air transfer inside of your tent, or it's going to get stale in there. You're going to have problems with edema or other type things where you're having mold, maybe even fungal type things. Now here's a really neat thing on here too. That you can come up and you have this little light in here, so you know how we get when our babies are taken off, we want to see them all the time. So I can just go in there without even going in there, peek through the sight window in here and just have a nice look, close it up, and look at that. No light penetration. I'm really happy with this light so far. So again, this is the Vivo Sun. Really simple to put together, all metal brackets, just like some of the expensive ones, but at a fraction of the cost. So it's really something to consider. You know, you don't, well, there is some really nice ones out there. I got what I could afford in my budget, and this is what I could afford. I spent my money on my light. I spent the money on the light, and I use high quality growing nutrients, very organic, and I'm also using a very high quality soil, and I am using the Nectar of the Gods #4 soil because I already know it's clean. Now for the seed starting, I'm cleaning my own seedling mix for this one. While I could use my Nectar of the Gods #4 soil, I'm going to go ahead and save that and put it in the bigger pots as it starts to pot up, and then it'll all be Nectar for the Gods #4 soil. So that's this episode. Now remember, we did a seed soak on this, and the seeds are in there soaking. They're going to be soaking for 12 to 24 hours. Remember, keep those seeds in a refrigerator just to help keep them fresh and keep their vitality. And next, while we're doing that, I take the time, I set up this tent previously, as you saw, and now we've went ahead and went through a cleaning of it. And again, on that, I use the Hygrozyme. to do the cleaning. And this is just a water, Hygrozyme water mixture. Wipe down the entire tent. If you're reusing the tent, once you get all the plants out of there, make sure that you clean the tent very good, because all you need is one little thing to get into there, and your whole system's gonna go on the whack. So always make sure that you clean before you bring them in. Just a real quick look. I'm going to show you around in here just a little bit, just so you get a good view of this. Now, first of all, look at these nice metal bracket corners. It's got the stabilization bar, so when my light's in there, it can come across. And then there's this bar here, and then this is the one that's holding my light. Now I could easily come across here and run a fan, an inline fan or a filter that runs from here, goes all the way through if I was running, say, a high pressure sodium light. But I really enjoy my Spider Farmer SF2000. I do have an SF1000 as well. It comes with this nice little tote here that you can put all your accessories in, scissors or whatever. It zips around. You really have viewing, and if you can see on the bottom, I have a 6-inch opening there and a 6-inch opening there, so I could actually put a little fan in there and push the air through. A 4-inch opening, and then you have ventilation ducts down there, right there and there. So really, it's just a nice overall outfit. And I can feel the temperature kind of rising in here. So this might be okay to even be in the grow shed, but I'm going to definitely have to run fans in here just to keep air circulation. So again, a recap of our solution here. 1 ounce of water and 1 teaspoon of Zeus Juice. That's what we're using in this seed mix. I'm going to now let it soak for 12 to 24 hours. The water after that, I'm cleaning my soil with the SLF 100 to make sure that it got all the bacteria or whatever I need out of that seed starting mix. And then once I do that, and you can see we did the tags on here so we don't get it, and made them waterproof. So that way we don't have to worry about being confused with what we're planting. Well, hopefully this helps you out. Well, thank you for joining me in this episode of the Indoor Grow Series, episode number 2. And that covered setup of the tent, cleaning the tent, and also getting our seedlings, getting our seeds soaking and getting them prepared for germination. So next episode, we're going to come back and I'm going to go ahead and have them going into the germinator, the propagator, and getting them on a controlled temperature heat mat using my VivoSun temperature controller and one of my smaller heat mats. Well, hopefully this helps you with just starting to get invigorated. Why am I doing this? Because I want to be able to grow year-round. And this gives me the ability to have this crop going while I'm getting my grow shed ready for a bigger year-round grow. Well, this is Harold with Papa Bear's Peppers. You have a great day and keep growing.